They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Outlet Pass Podcast, episode 22. I am your resident JT McConnell, the homie's homie. More importantly, my real name, Justin DiVirgilio, and on the line with me is my wonderful co-host, down the shore, Dante Parentozzi. How you feeling down this early morning?
Early morning, what's good? Yo, this is great. I realize next episode, it'll be the 23rd episode, the GOAT, LeBron James. Ain't that something?
I thought you were going to say Jordan just to be PC, but glad you said Bron.
No. Can't be having that. I can't be standing for this third team shit. Got to come right out the gate letting everybody know. I can't be doing that to LeBron.
I mean,
but
we were going to get into it more so, but
there
are reasons why he did make the third team. You can't really argue against it, I think.
Still can't sleep on the GOAT.
No, you can't. It's just
a down year. The GOAT wasn't even a down year, but people playing him out. We'll get into that. I got really theories on this shit too, so
okay,
we'll get into it.
Good. I'm glad to hear you have some theories and some well thought out thoughts.
Yeah, I've been thinking about. Of course, LeBron's on my mind every day.
Well, let's just get into the conference finals, and the Western Conference Finals ended on, was it Sunday? Earlier this week or last week. The Blazers got swept by the Warriors. The first thought I had about this sweep was, wow, the Blazers really made it this far just to get swept by the Warriors again.
But at the same time, Just.
But I'm negative with that. Sorry.
It was the first sweep that I've ever seen where I thought that the Blazers, they should have, if they could close a game, oh my God, it makes me sick knowing that they led the games. They led all four games in terms of minutes more than the Warriors did in any of those games.
I know.
They were. How does that happen? That just happens because one team is experienced enough to come back in the fourth quarter and hit a couple shots and not take dumb shots or just, know when it's time. But, damn. I mean, obviously we expected the Warriors to win, but not in that fat. I mean, maybe some people believed that it would have been in 4 games. I thought it wasn't going to go. I thought it was going to go more than 4. But, damn. Steph Curry really is on one. Draymond is on one. Klay Thompson talking that talk with that mouth right now. So, bucket getters.
Yeah. All I can say is, damn, Dame and them Blazers blowing three consecutive 18-point leads in the playoffs of all times. Even this is frustrating in December. If I was a Blazers fan, I would not be happy from those 3 games. But at the time when you guys need it the most, when it was supposed to be this epic showdown of incredible backcourts, and it just it didn't happen because the Blazers just couldn't weather the storm of the inevitable third quarter Warriors run. That's basically the thing.
Third quarter. Yeah, they crushed that. They've always been a good third quarter team. They're well coached. Can't take that away from Steve Kerr. But not for nothing. Steph Curry is. I was telling John yesterday. I said he's becoming likable again. The Warriors. I want the Warriors to win. I want the Warriors to bust the shit out of whoever comes out the next round.
Well, you also have some ill sentiment towards the Eastern Conference. So especially this year.
But usually we always talk about how much we hate Steph because obviously I'm a LeBron guy.
Well, don't say
LeBron versus Steph.
I don't hate him.
All right. Several of us in the group chat, the boys, Lewis, John, we don't like Steph. But now we're starting to grow to like Steph because why not? The dude's playing great ball. He's got no problems. So I'm with him right now.
Uh, yeah, you're saying first. You mentioned Steph. Since we're gonna praise Steph, he has the most points ever in a 4-game sweep, barely beating out. I think LeBron. He had 145 in this series against the Blazers. LeBron scored
Damn,
like
yeah.
144, and then Shaq
Yep.
had like 140, and then LeBron had like 130 something. Those were the
And
top
Kobe
four.
split him.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Kobe was last.
Kobe
I'm
was the
sorry.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But
Yeah.
sheesh.
But
We can't take it away from what I know what you're about to say, right? How great Draymond played. That brother's going to get paid. That brother's going to get paid somewhere.
well,
He's got to.
yeah, we can talk about how Draymond played incredible. I actually had a thought about Steve Kerr. Well, just a question that Paul Pierce brought up, but let's get into Draymond first.
Oh, God.
Right? Yeah, you don't want to hear the name. Draymond played like old Draymond. He said earlier in the series he watched his son play and he saw how he was watching the NBA too much because he was flopping and jacking up threes. And then Draymond looked at himself and said, I think I do that. Well, not the threes part, but he flops and mouths off too much. This
the mouthing off really got to him.
This time, he would just grab rebounds and push it downhill. Like if they were running down a huge hill, that's what was going on. Draymond was trying to get to the cup, get everybody swarming towards him, and he'll find you. That's literally what he was doing. And
he's everywhere. He's really everywhere. He had like over 2.5 steals a game. He had about 2.5 blocks. Obviously, he recorded a couple triple doubles. First time ever we've seen 2 players in a game in a playoff game, Steph and Draymond, get triple doubles. That's incredible. But I saw Draymond running, bro. He looks like he's really in shape right now. Like he was running down the court and doing like catching outlet passes from people, doing like layups, like right on the basket, like running down the court as soon as they get a rebound. Like with him not with the ball, when he doesn't get the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, Draymond. Some guys can't keep up with him. I was shocked to see it. He's a big dude, but he can move. I'm excited right now, and he's so smart. He was eating up the Blazers and Myers Leonard that game with those lobs. Like he just is a smart player, and he'll do the same thing 10 times if he knows 10 times it'll work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That's the IQ.
Yeah, and it made a lot of sense that with the series Steph had and Draymond had, that Draymond iced the series and Steph was the giver of that pass to end the series, to end the Blazers season at home, which is heartbreaking. But real quick, did you see what Paul Pierce said? What was it after they won Game 4?
I did not. I eliminated all Paul Pierce content from my television set.
Well, I'm gonna bring it to you. You can't censor me. He said Steve Kerr is a top 5 all-time coach. Now, initially when I saw it, I was just like, see, that's just such a clickbait. It pulls you in because everybody just says those types of terms. Top 5, top 10, da-da-da, da-da-da. But it's just like, all right, does he really have a case? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, because I don't know how much coaching Steve Kerr has done. It's like this guy, it's like getting your first car and you have a Ferrari as your first car and you have it for 5 years. It's like you got like the cream of the crop. So it's like you should be able to do something with it. All the other coaches they named like built something. They said like Red Auerbach from the Celtics back in the 50s, Pop, Phil Jackson. I'm missing somebody. And then he was like
Pat
Steve
Riley.
Kerr.
Dude.
Pat Riley. There you go. That's one of them.
Yeah, about to say, I was trying to think of names of myself. I'm like, well, like I'm not gonna diss Steve Kerr, right? Because you can't diss him by no means. But at the same time, you can't. It's really tough to say, all right, top 5 guy. Because like, look, Luke Walton's got one of the best stats ever for a season. When Steve Kerr was, with the back spasms and the back issues, and I think Luke Walton's trash. Some people might think Luke Walton ain't that bad, but I think he's garbanzo beans. But that's a story for a different day. We'll get there, actually. Not a different day. We'll get there because we'll talk about him when we talk about our beloved Lakers. But let's get back to the Warriors. Now, do you expect to see anyone new playing in the finals that we haven't seen in the last series, or what's the word?
Well, there is some word that Boogie Cousins could be closer to playing in the finals than Kevin Durant would be, and that just adds another dynamic to the media as KD didn't play at all in the Portland series, and they're like, I think so much of the media and the fans were used to the Warriors just being overkill, like step on your throat at any time. Like with Kevin Durant, like you show up at the game, it's like, damn, dog, we might not even have a chance at all. Like that's how it feels. It's treated, but people are like, wow, this Warriors team's pretty good, aren't they? It's like, dog, this team was on the verge of changing the NBA with or without Kevin Durant. So I don't understand where the surprise comes from if you watch just the first two teams before KD got there. Like, they broke the Bulls' regular season win record, but only by one win, but they still broke it without him. So I think it's just it was disrespectful to the rest of the Warriors team. Like, they got there so many times. It's a great team. But
where do you sit in all this? You know, with them saying better with KD, without KD. What do you feel? They're
obviously better with Kevin Durant because he's been so efficient.
Thank God you're staying.
Yeah, he's been so efficient his whole career, and then you have two guys who don't need the ball, who can get themselves the ball by moving around. Like you saw Game 3 when they show the one possession of Steph, constant movement on offense.
Oh my God, he just runs around.
Like dog, it's like a track meet. I would hate to defend him.
They set up. I've been saying this about the screens, but I can't get enough of the screens that they set, man. I think how they set up their team is just so perfect for what they have. And yes, like we said, they're more talented with KD, and that's why they'll win. But as a team chemistry standpoint right now, like you can't stop what they got. Obviously, when KD gets back, it's no problem. They're a better talented team. But right now, they're just doing Warriors ball that I remember. And I love when, you see Steph like take that one pump slide and then go to the rack and put it high off the glass. I love seeing Steph go to the glass because it doesn't happen often, but I love it. And it happens a little more now without Kevin Durant. And somebody like Boogie clogging up the paint. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see multiple levels of Steph's game when that kind of got a little bit overshadowed.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And since you brought up the whole conversation that's been had, basically the whole week about how the Warriors are with KD or are they better or whatever, Twitter fingers KD has made a return, and I think it's a very peculiar time to decide to want a Twitter beef with Chris Broussard during the conference finals when you could play in the finals. But I don't know. Somebody said that Warriors needed KD. They never needed him. KD needed them. I mean, people have been saying that since he got there. And he replied to this person, said, and excuse my language, fuck y'all, I'm out. You'll see who needed who when I'm beating this team with the raggedy-ass Suns next year.
That's what he said? Yeah. I didn't see that initial one. Oh, my God.
That's what started the whole thing. And then Chris Broussard got into the mix. He said...
But that wasn't Chris. That wasn't Chris yet. That was a random person.
Yeah, that was a random person.
Okay, this is when Chris gets in, and this is when I don't like this.
So
I got some mixed feelings on this.
Okay, let me just give you the timeline.
Yeah, you lay it on me.
Kevin Durant's worst nightmare is coming true. He said if Warriors win title without KD, does that diminish his 2 rings? And then Kevin Durant replies, I see a little exaggeration there, buddy. My worst nightmare? You sure that this is the worst that it can get?
True. Now hit me with the next one.
Then somebody else said, calm down, we know you're sensitive. He said, KD being, you right. Let me chill before my sensitivity flare up. You real one, bro. And then Chris Broussard did not stop. He didn't stop. So he was on Undisputed. I believe he works for Fox Sports, so that's why he takes all of his content there and all of his appearances. KD and I have a love-hate relationship. We texted for 2-3 hours straight about life, basketball, media, faith. KD has gone at me much harder privately. We make a living critiquing athletes. It would be hypocritical of us to not be able to take it. And then KD said, cap, 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 cap. You don't have my number, man.
I love that.
And
And then Chris went a step further, tried to show the fugazi, trying to say, "Oh, I got these DMs, Instagram, they're all the same shit, man. Come on."
yeah, he did a 60-minute video. He did it. I mean, this is incredible. Like, I don't get why KD's doing this besides to, like, just...
You're on that side of camp. Okay.
No,
That's how we're going to rock?
No, he's helping Chris Broussard anyway. Like, Chris Broussard is a decent journalist. He's been very reliable over the years. But
yeah,
in terms
Chris Broussard made his living off of one guy. So let's get that fucking straight before we start this. LeBron James.
Okay.
Okay? He was covering Braun before anybody was seriously covering Braun. You know, before fucking Brian Windhurst was even in the mix, and Brian Windhurst was a fucking toddler, a fat-ass toddler somewhere. But, you know, Chris Broussard was covering LeBron from the Cavs, you know, and he was the first one to say, these are the potential teams that LeBron can go to. I'll never forget that because he was like the first one following him. Always said that he always tried to do the same thing with LeBron. But somehow LeBron kind of used that as, you know, to help build up Broussard's career, I think, almost. But Chris Broussard now has established himself. So don't do that shit like you're trying to be like Stephen A. Like, oh, I'm talking to players on the side. Because Chris Broussard, you ain't Stephen A. And, you know, players like Stephen A. You might be shocked by that. Because he really doesn't really talk badly about players. I know that sounds crazy. He makes funny comments, funny gestures. But at the heart of it all, Stephen A. ain't going to talk bad about you, especially if you're going to give him the time of day to have a conversation and talk about things. You know? Chris Broussard can't be making those comments coming about KD's legacy. KD, at 21 years old, scored 30.1 points per game. Tell me that he is going to have such a fucking nightmare going to a different team or losing a championship, you know, not being a guy that contributed to this championship. But what the hell do you mean, bro? Come on, Chris Broussard with that petty shit.
Yeah.
That's all I got on that.
All right. I'm not against, like, I'm kind of with you there, but also at the same time, it's like, KD, this is, you're feeding into what people think about you already. Maybe you don't care anymore. All right. I can see it. Then it's just like, you're trying to return to the finals. So why are you even giving any of this bullshit light? Because you might wind up leaving anyway. And if you really, like, isn't the saying, if you really don't care, you'll just not acknowledge it?
Well, yeah, we know how KD works, right? And obviously he's not in the gym working because he's still kind of injured, right? He's probably working out, but he's probably not shooting and stuff. So he's got more time on his schedule. You know, so or maybe he's getting some leg rub outs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's got time to be on his phone a little more. Knowing KD, he's just, you know, hitting the Twitter fingers. But I want to make another comment because media bothered me another time this week. All right?
Yeah.
How did you feel about that Rob Pelinka, Frank Vogel thing where they're sitting there and the media guy asked Frank Vogel or asked Pelinka, oh, well, your first two options were supposed to be Monty Williams and Ty Lue, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
he asked him, like, you know, obviously this wasn't your first option. Wasn't that sick?
Yo, they disrespected
Rob
Pelinka and Frank Vogel basically in the first, like, out of the first, like, 6-7 questions out of there, like 3 of them, by asking about situations that didn't have to do with what the press conference was for. It was an introductory press conference for Frank Vogel. And they decided to lead off with, obviously, I mean, you're doing your job in a way, but I think out of being like a human being and out of respect, I think you should hit the person, like, about them, hit them with a question that has to do with why they're there. Then you could ask them about Magic because that happened earlier that day. But they were doing their job, so I see it from both sides, but yeah, it was pretty blatantly like, we don't really care that you're Lakers head coach. This person was supposed to be it. This person was supposed to be it. One of the greatest Lakers of all time. Just shit on basically the GM. Like, but we definitely have more to talk about with that. But I noticed that the whole time. I was like, damn, they didn't even like really address Frank Vogel like that.
Yeah.
And then he had to clean it up at the end. Like, he was like, I have plans here. Like, I like the collaboration of this organization and just bigging them up. And I'm thankful. I'm ready to get ready for the season in October and get us right this summer. It's basically what he said.
I think they're one season too late on getting Vogel. It should have been last season if they were to do this, because then they would have had a better chance of Paul George. But that's just obviously a hypothesis. Can't happen now. The theory. But, whatever. But there would have been a better chance if that was the case. Or maybe people don't think that really matters. But I think that stuff matters. Coaches, who's around agents, like who's, that shit's going to matter. So we'll see. But, what else you got for me?
Well,
lay it on me.
The Eastern Conference Finals are still going on, unlike the West. We're getting to still see some basketball, even though it's... I'm actually kind of invested in this series. I said on the last podcast we were deflated about it because it's not the Sixers in there, but I put that feeling onto rooting for the Bucks. And, I mean, it really hasn't worked so far, at least in the past week, because the Raptors have came roaring back from a 2-0 deficit to now be up 3-2. As of last night, Game 5 was last night in Milwaukee, a nail-biter where Toronto pulled it out. And the two of the biggest things of why they have the lead now is that they went back home. Well, 4. Whatever, how many number? I got a bunch of reasons. They went back home. Giannis and Milwaukee have struggled offensively because of Toronto's defense. Basically just watching Giannis, and whenever he tries to bull rush the paint, they build a wall.
They collapsed him hard, yeah.
And then Kawhi, we know Kawhi is going to get the buckets whenever he wants to, however he wants to. But the bench has really stepped up. Yeah,
got to show love to the bench. Dude, Van Fleet took shots. Did you see that? How many feet they were behind the line?
Yeah.
He was chucking them up yesterday. I was like, oh, my gosh.
He felt like that rim looked like the ocean.
Yeah, I was like, get him, Fred. All right, boo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was out there yesterday. I mean, Serge was looking to yam the ball from about the free throw line yesterday. Did you see that? He was coming in hot. One of the plays down the lane trying to dunk. But they looked better.
They weathered the storm in the beginning. I thought the Bucks were going to take it, and then Toronto hung around.
You know what frustrated me? And it's the same thing that, Budenholzer's a good coach, don't get me wrong, but he pulled the Brett Brown move, okay? Giannis was out of the game, and Bucks were winning by like 10 points. They stormed out all the way back in the third quarter while Giannis was out. Don't you call a timeout? Don't you sub Giannis back in? Don't you do something so you don't let this happen? The Bucks rely pretty heavily on Giannis. I'm not saying he's the whole team because, Middleton could hit a shot. Eric Bledsoe could do his thing once in a while. Brogdon's been showing up since he's been back. But still, this is a team built by Giannis, a team that relies on Giannis getting into the lane and then kicking it out to them. But, shots weren't falling in the third and the fourth. But you can't let Raptors steal games like that. You can't.
No, you can't. And if you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it. Giannis is basically the oil to the Milwaukee Bucks engine. Like,
yeah,
they're not even sniffing the conference finals if Giannis doesn't play at half the level he's played at this entire season. I'm going to say that. I think that's point blank blatant because what has happened? He can't penetrate. In his last 3 games, he's supposed to be the next heir when it comes to superstar. Like, he might be the new face of the league by 2 years from now. In his last 3 games, in the double overtime game, Game 3, which they blew, they should have won that game. He only had 12 points on 5 of 16 shooting, and he wound up fouling out. Then the next 2 games, he has scored 25 points and 24 points on basically 50% shooting, but he's missed a combined of 9 free throws.
Ooh.
And he's been airballing, which hasn't helped. Like, that can't happen. And you know what's really funny about this is that the same thing that if, say, the Sixers were in the conference finals right now and Ben Simmons did this, he would be getting
for his neck.
Yeah.
Slaughtered.
And now that Giannis is playing like this, It's okay because I guess he's played at a high level so all year. The only difference I think it is that he has a willingness to take jump shots. Like, he took a 3 last night during the fourth quarter, and I was like, don't take that shot. And he made it. I was like, oh, all right, this is what we're doing? Like, I was surprised.
Yeah, but I also saw him try to take a turnaround jumper yesterday, and it was bad to watch. It was bad to watch. And I was like, bruh. But I felt like he's been doing a lot of driving kickouts, like a ton more than he usually does, and he does a lot of them, don't get me wrong. But he just didn't look composed yesterday passing the ball. Like, he was just, like, doing some, like, dumb-looking passes. They got there, but I was like, something looked a little off. Like, you're going to see the best version of yourself of Giannis next game, without a doubt. You're going to have to, because now the series has to go 7. There's no way, even in Toronto, that Giannis ain't going to just try to get 50 points if he has to.
I hope he does.
Giannis, go get 50. I mean, obviously they're doing the great wall. The wall is really great setup right outside the painted area, and lining the guys up. Marc Gasol's doing his job. People are loving that right now. But the Bucks are still a better team. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
so it's frustrating. Oh, do you not feel that way? Besides
they're
the bench coming alive recently, the bunch paper. Go on paper. Look at them side by side.
Yeah, for sure.
Bench has come alive for Toronto, but Bucks are supposed to beat them.
Yeah.
I texted Matt last night, and I did the hand, the emoji with the guy with the hand over his mouth.
Yeah.
And I quote Matt. He says, "Jesus fuck, what do I do with my hands?" Obviously, he's so excited because this is great. Obviously, if our team was in, we would be going bananas too.
Yeah.
But
I want to rain on this parade, though. Dude, it should be the Sixers, but I have a couple things before ranting now. It should be the Sixers. I noticed last night, just a thought kind of dawned on me. Giannis and Pascal Siakam are very, very similar players. And I say that because notice every time Giannis goes to the cup, he's dominating the ball with his right hand. He tries to finish with his right, tries to pass with his right. In unopportune times. That's how he got blocked by Siakam last night, because he turned to his inside shoulder and Siakam was right there. You guys are basically the same height and length. He's going to get to you. And that's also me bigging up Pascal Siakam. If Giannis could shoot with the consistency of Siakam shooting this year, Giannis is going to be even scarier.
Damn.
How
about that? Well, okay, so 2 things I just realized. So I think 2 ways that the Bucks will be able to beat Toronto is the Bucks got to focus on defense, because what happens in defense? Defense needs to transition buckets, which is something that Giannis does better than anybody in the league at this current game, at this current point in his career. I think even, he's better than LeBron in terms of transition right now than LeBron is. That's just my personal opinion. But, okay, that's the first one. And secondly, I think they got to put Giannis a little more in the post so that they can't do that wall on him and collapse. Because if he's down low already, he can still baby anybody he goes against. I don't care who it is. He's still so damn strong that if he's in the post to begin with, yes, they might have 2-on-1s, but you got to count on these guys hitting their shots. And that means the other guys got to come to play. But Giannis still hasn't been magnificent in this series. Let's be real. We've seen better versions of Giannis. So let's get it. Come on.
One last
I got your
thing.
jersey. Come on.
One last thing about the Giannis, because I had this thought after the loss last night. I said, this is kind of like, it's weird that he's going one-on-one with Kawhi Leonard, because this could be his Kawhi Leonard moment. Around the same age, making a deep playoff run, wants to stay in the small marketplace. You're the guy. You don't really talk much. I mean, Giannis yells on the court, but he really doesn't talk like that. He's not like a lot of the NBA superstars. So I was like, you're not as composed, or just not stepping up the way Kawhi did, which, I mean, I just think is interesting because they're both in the same echelon of top players.
I think Kawhi was really well coached in San Antonio, and I mean, that is Kawhi's demeanor as well. But I feel like
Is that not a fair comparison?
No
though?
moment. Yeah, I think it's totally fair, but no moment is too big for Kawhi. I think Giannis shits in his friggin' shorts sometimes, even though you don't see it. The missed free throws really is something that shows on that level. Because missed free throws, those are supposed to be not free buckets, but if you got 10 free throws, you're supposed to hit 6 of them if you're Giannis, because I think he shoots between about 60 to 70%.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot well. Now, Game 6 is Saturday, and a person who's been credited with, I feel like, more than the Raptors have for this win, and it's really pissed me off, is that Drake is in front of my screen on my phone. I get notifications from him every single time. Yo, let me just tell you something. I can't stand it. I'm so annoyed.
We love Drake. We put a pause on Drake last series, or at least I did.
I still have him on pause.
I have heard no Drake music unless he's featured in a song. I ain't playing no Drake. All right, it's annoying. It definitely is annoying. Do I think it's allowed? No. Do I think the Sixers guy is allowed? The sixth man, whatever Horowitz, is allowed to stand up on an inbound pass? Absolutely not. There should be a little more limitation on guys that are courtside. I think there should be. But at the same coin, anybody that's commented about Drake on that level, the way Coach Bud is and Giannis' agent, shut up, bro. You got come on, somebody. They should have a front office guy say, hey, we should have better, should have a better solution to this issue. But having guys like that stepping in is just taken away from what their focus should be. You would never see a real polished coach comment at all about something like Drake. They would pay Drake no mind. Drake is annoying, though. It's
an interesting point. And since you mentioned his agent, I have his soundbite, his tweet. It's kind of wild that the agent tweeted about this and subtweeted him, basically. He said, imagine a gig and an athlete on VIP seats right next to the band, stands up on the stage just to show off during the entire game, knowing cameras are on him, occasionally even massaging the singer. Security and him both allow it. Never seen anything as disrespectful as this before. Now, that last comment, a little wild.
Yeah.
I'm not dramatic.
Come on.
But I see where he's coming from. It's you can be a fan, but it's when you're talking shit to the players and Stephen A. Smith said, oh, it's okay because he touched his coach. But it's just be a fan. You've been a fan the whole time. Just relax. Over there, you can still get hype, but it's just you're not that important. And the worst part about this is that Drake is the biggest star in this series. He's getting way more shine than Kawhi, still basically averaging 30 a game.
That's
doesn't add up. That's
listen, all. I've always talked about this with John. Drake knows what sells. This type of shit is what sells. Okay, it really does. So we find it annoying, and maybe some people, other people do too. But some people are like, "Damn, Drake's out here!"
Drake fans are the only people saying that. Naive Drake fans. I'm a huge Drake fan, but
we're we're NBA fans.
Yeah,
before we're a Drake fan.
Yeah, and I know exactly what he's doing anyway. I know he's smart. He was out there last night with all the people on the one stage in Jurassic Park. And after the Game 5 win, he got somebody interviewed him or asked him about it. He said, I love and respect the NBA or the city or whatever and the Raptors. I would never try and do it to be disrespectful. All I have is passion and love for the Raptors. And the Toronto Raptors are like a college sports team, which I understand the analogy, but it's kind of like a dig. How you going to call your NBA team that's about to make the NBA Finals a college sports team?
Nah. He meant in terms of feel, in terms of the type of atmosphere that you're getting. Because guess what? These people really want to. These people really want to get to the championship. You don't see no Bucks fans at the bar with 7 teeth in their mouth rooting for them the same way as Toronto is. I'll be damn sure about that.
I think they Were they out there on game 1 and 2? Because last night they did the same thing like they did in Toronto. They had people out there with the inside the NBA crew, and it's like, I guess they're trying to cover it up, like clean it up for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I don't buy it the same way. I think there's a clear distinction of Toronto's fans. I got to give respect to it.
One's authentic and one's not.
Yeah, I mean, and Drake's also been there for a while, so I hate to take it away from him, but like I said, I wanted to comment about the fans who sit courtside. There's got to be some type of fix for that, just because I don't like it. We've talked about this too many times this year. I think we even gave Horwitz a comment last week about Kyle Lowry, or 2 weeks ago. That little exchange. The Russell Westbrook thing. It shouldn't be happening. I tried to hit mute, but when they come so fast, you can't even control it.
Nah, you definitely can't.
So many things happen. The AirPod case fell to the ground. I started sneezing. The pillow fell at the same time. There were so many things happening. I didn't know what to choose. So I decided to do nothing. When that happens, you just do nothing.
This guy, shit, throw your hands up. Yeah, I hear you. It's just, I'm just waiting for him to drop a song, during it, because that's all he's doing is getting traffic towards whatever he wants to show you, and it's annoying. And
is he dropping something this summer?
I don't know, probably. He always drops something, berserk. But it's just annoying how much credit has been given to him and so much shine when it's supposed to be about the team. But
it should be. Right.
That's where I'm gonna blame Bleacher Report.
I'm gonna blame. Yeah, I'll blame Bleacher Report with you on that, but I'm also gonna blame and not blame at the same time. Blame but not blame Kawhi Leonard.
That makes any sense.
You know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Kawhi ain't a star guy. I mean, he's a superstar.
Kawhi
but he don't give you that. He don't have that aura.
He's not flamboyant. He's not performing for you to be like, oh, that was dope, or oh, that was cool, or oh, yo, I feel him. It's yo, he's there to play basketball, dunk on you, do his little step back, get to the rack, find people, and play defense. And then there was a tweet earlier. It's Kawhi Leonard's the type of guy that says goodbye to his family, shows up 8 hours later, and they say, how was work? And he goes, oh, it was cool.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. That's so true though. That's kind of, but you can't knock that because he shows up to work every day.
No,
or
I'm not
maybe he
it.
actually he didn't do it to Spurs, but he shows up to work every day, does his job, and
No, this was to knock Drake. I just can't stand that he has gotten so much press and love, and this is technically love for me because I'm talking about him on a podcast. But I just need to tell you about the frustration that I see because I can't control what is put on the screen. He's there, and then they keep highlighting it. Oh, he's here. Da, 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 da. I think it annoys me more than seeing the Kawhi Leonard shot every single time during this series, during the games. At some point, they show it every time.
Oh, of course.
I'm sick of it. Can we wait and then you guys can show it later? But it's so fresh. There's some people still coping. But
yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
Hey, it's our podcast cover. So how many times did I see it when we look at it? I'm like, oh, such a good picture, but damn, oh.
That's why I did it. I respect the photography of that, just to capture that moment.
Great shot.
Well, let's get into some NBA news. Straight on Monday morning, if you guys wanted an exciting work week, Magic Johnson only appeared on First Take to talk about resigning from the Lakers so abruptly before the last game of the season. What did you take away from this?
Shout out to Stephen A. for getting one of the best interviews of the year. That was a good interview from a sports standpoint, right? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, obviously,
I think they asked a lot of questions we had asked.
And I think you got answers. You definitely got answers.
And I
thought the best line was when Magic said, people around telling me, you better watch out for Rob, better watch out for me. He said, all right, I'm going to give him a fair chance. And then he heard all the fugazi that Rob was, doing things behind his back, talking to the front office, and You know, like Magic said, it wasn't fun for him anymore.
See,
You know?
I know exactly what he said, and we did get answers. Whether I choose to believe him or not is up to me, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe. I definitely don't believe half of it. Like when Magic
Bro,
set
Rob's
this
a
up.
snake.
Okay, all right, let me finish. Yeah, Rob.
You're right.
I mean, Magic went on First Take when he first walked in. He complimented everybody as he walked in, and he did it at the end of the interview too. That says something as a guy, because they're talking to him, so they're definitely listening to you, and they want to get the things out of you besides from the story, like just talking to someone like that. He's also very convincing with his words. He knew exactly what he wanted to say, like no stuttering or like backtracking. You said he was told to watch out for Rob Pelinka. He had 3 reasons why he didn't want to be the Lakers president anymore. He said it wasn't fun, like you said. He didn't like being talked about behind his back, and he didn't have as much power as he thought. So this was a completely selfish move by Magic Johnson, and he tried to code it by saying,
Whoa.
wait.
Whoa.
He tried to code it by saying, my well-being needed to be increased because I wasn't having fun anymore and all these things were happening. The problems that you basically had that you said you left sound like high school problems to me. Like, he coded it up, he didn't do enough. Like, this year, could it be because he didn't reload the Lakers in the first year LeBron James how he probably should have? Or because he's missed on people beforehand? And the funny part about this is that he's going on about how he didn't like this and how he's going to leave anyway. It wasn't fun, yada, yada, yada. And he revealed during the interview, for whatever reason, this went missed on people, that, I was only going to be there 3 years anyway. So why are you tight?
Well, it was a 3-year plan, much focused on getting the GOAT, LeBron, on the team. That was his number one. So, you know, if you had to make a list of 10 things, that would be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, because that was his job. I'm like certain on that. That was his job. Your job is to make sure LeBron James becomes a Laker, okay? And then it became a power struggle, you know, because you got dumbass Buss in power. Rob Lowe look-alike Pelinka over here.
Yo, I had that same thought.
Pelinka can't even wear like he's got no drip in his game. So somebody's got to find him a guy to get a new suit guy for stars. But like I said, you know, Magic Johnson wasn't getting the same type of power, and a dude who's got all that wealth, he's got so much money. You know, he couldn't give up his other endeavors, and he said, you know, if I still get to call some shots, you know, if I got to do my thing a little bit, then, you know, I'll stick around. But when he lost that, what did he really have? He's a dude with a lot of money with no power that he could go use his money elsewhere and get his power back. Okay? So you strip a guy of power, what's he have? So I'm on Magic's side.
Okay.
I don't like Rob Pelinka. I think the whole Buss family has been issues for years. Okay? It hasn't been now. She snaked her own brother. Come on. You know what I'm saying?
Now, let me just say, like, you're on Magic's side. Now, the funny part about this is that Magic didn't like what Rob was saying about him. He said he wasn't in the office enough, which can be interpreted as a dig, because you're interpreting how much is enough. But as the president of basketball operations, right?
Uh-huh.
You're supposed to be there damn near like every day, right? So
he made that clear, though, he wasn't going to be there.
Well, then don't take the job as president of basketball operations. I mean, you're supposed to be committed to it. Wait. Rob Pelinka wasn't saying anything that wasn't factual because he was there every day. He wouldn't see him. And also, the funny part about it is that he said he talked with Magic about the number 4 pick that they just received in the draft lottery 2 days prior to him appearing on First Take and airing out this very old, dirty laundry. Now, go ahead with what you wanted to say.
I didn't know that. But what I will say is, like, take the Eagles, for example, right? The Eagles, do you know who their GM is?
Howie Roseman?
Nope. They don't have one. Howie is the president of the team, okay? So it's whatever power you want to make it to be. Now, you're telling me that they needed both Rob Pelinka and Magic to run the show and tell me that they needed Magic there every day? I don't think so. Magic had the stardom, the sway. The idea that free agency will get pulled because Magic's there. You could maybe potentially pick Magic's brain, whatever that may be. Okay, that was why they got him. And then, I really am still struck up by the fact that they took power away from Magic, because when the AD deal became a thing, Magic tried to get his hand in it, and they tried to say that Magic, was offering the New Orleans one thing and telling Jeannie Buss another. I don't know about all that. It might have been true, it might have been not. But at the end of the day, the GM is Pelinka. So the trades go through Pelinka. Magic is just the appeal, okay?
Yeah,
So,
I hear you. Now,
but I don't know.
wait, I had one thing. No, here it is. So Magic, you saying he's not supposed to be there every day because he's a busy man in general, right? But
Not that he's not supposed to be there, but that's what he didn't sign. He didn't sign up to be there every day.
But you took the job as president of basketball operations, and he said in the First Take interview, this was really funny and hypocritical and ironic that you said this, and I think it's been overlooked. He said that he wanted more basketball people involved in the Lakers organization, and there were too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, Magic Johnson, you're one of the most credible basketball minds that is involved in the NBA in the front office now. So aren't you, now it's back to my point, aren't you supposed to be there? If you want basketball minds, you're one of the best basketball minds. Why don't you stay? And I thought it was funny that he said he has no regrets. After everything you've been through? I mean, everything? If you get picking up what I'm putting down.
In the grand scheme, oh my god, In the grand scheme of things, though, in recent years, Magic is living his best life. He's a part of the Dodgers ownership organization. He has a ton of investments. On a day-to-day, the Lakers were on his mind, probably one of the top things on his mind, but he wasn't making a true living off of them. If he was the GM, this is a different story. I bet Magic's still in power. And I also think there's a part of Jeannie Buss that just has so much ignorance in her body that she can't help herself, and she's a part of the Lakers'
nepotism,
non-success. Nepotism, yes. She used to fool around with Phil, right? We don't got to get into that, but that's how you know there's something wrong. Phil was 20 years older than her.
Hold on. I'm going to Google that right now because I never heard that. Jeannie Buss.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Jeannie Buss, Phil Jackson. That? Engaged?
That was... No, they're not together no more.
Break up,
he was with her for they were with each other for a good bit. And Phil was an old-ass dude, bro. Let's not get that twisted.
They were engaged for several years. Well...
Yeah.
I mean, Jeannie Buss...
She loves the Zen boy.
Jeannie Buss is no eyesore. I will give her that.
She's got that bread, though.
And, Phil was probably like, I'm going to live a little bit nicer than I have. Now, one last thing before we get off this Lakers topic, because we talked a lot about this, but this was one of the biggest stories of the week. Rob Pelinka, during the introductory Vogel press conference, somebody questioned, how do you think Magic's comments of him being basically a snake, how is it going to affect his relationship around the league trying to make trades? And Rob Pelinka proceeded to dodge the question and not answer it. I always take note of when they directly ask you something and they just dodge it and do the normal, sounding like robotic answer that you could just pick from anywhere. I think that's important.
Trying to do the best for my team.
Yeah.
Whatever that does, I'll do. Yeah.
I want to thank God. I want to thank my family.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Pelinka's a snake. It'll be tough, but the same things you have now, it becomes the LeBron James appeal rather than the Magic Johnson appeal in terms of recruiting, because last summer, in terms of free agency, there was obviously no LeBron, but now you have him, and that kind of helps that stardom, and people come to LA. Like we heard yesterday, LeBron has contacted both Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler already. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They're bound to get someone.
You ever wonder how they know that? Who told Brian Windhorst that? You know what I'm saying? Who told
Brian? Yes, but sometimes they give media information because some people, they drop it on purpose. they drip drop certain little things, you know? It's not over the moon things, you know. You hear them say, Jimmy Butler committed to going to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's yet but done. You don't really hear that right now. But people talk. You got to give the media stuff because the media is still what drives a big part of the NBA. You know, without the media, you don't get all this extra layers on things. And sometimes the media is obviously bad, but the media is supposed to be good. It helps build up players.
It makes I hear what you're saying. It makes the game like an onion. There's multiple layers.
Yeah, also we know basketball a little more than others, but for the average fan, media sometimes the good ones dissect the game a little bit, and then you got the ones that don't and just want to be reporters. But those that are real true NBA media guy, I like somebody like Chauncey Billups. I always say Chauncey because I love him. But I love hearing what Chauncey has to say. Like, give me everything, Chauncey. You can give me any hot take. I'll take your hot take because there's some truth behind it, and there's something that makes sense from a basketball standpoint. And that's what he gives you. Then you got these reporters that obviously frustrate us so much. I feel that way. I don't know if you feel that way. But
they feed into the reality TV drama-esque reporting that has been the Lakers this entire season. That's also the problem. And one more thing. You mentioned Jimmy Butler. And I noticed in our group chat this week that nobody was panicked that Jimmy Butler... I think somebody said something about never let him show your hand. I saw somebody in the Sixers subreddit post that. I was like, yo, dog, you read a little too into that one. He was holding cards. And if you wanted to read into it, he got you. But he's, I don't think... Jimmy's just going to have a fun time trolling until he gets paid. That's basically what it is.
I still think he's going to be a money guy over a winning guy. You don't think to believe that, like we've discussed, but
I think the Sixers are paying him the money he wants to win. That's what I think.
Oh, that's a whole lot of chicken, brother.
Well, three of the top players on the team deserve that chicken. So.
Oh man! All right, so now speaking of chicken.
Hey,
lay it on me.
That fried chicken, boy. Damian Lillard.
He's really about to cook.
Gonna get 4 years, $191 million supermax.
Deserves every single dollar from the standpoint of the NBA, not in terms of do I just think NBA player deserves to get $40 million a year? Probably not, but they sell, do their thing. So in terms of what everybody else is getting, he definitely deserves it. And what we see is he'll be with the Blazers for the next 4 years. Obviously not a 5-year deal because maybe he sees a little something. Or can you only do a 4? Why not do a 5? Maybe I want to read into that a little bit. I don't know if you want to.
Well, we can.
But I feel like, this might be his last contract with the Blazers.
Well, depending on how this next run goes, I will.
Yeah.
I can see it. And I want to address the thing you said before. Yeah, nobody's worth that amount of money, but I'm glad. The whole point is context. Guys, we're talking about players who play in the league for millions of dollars. I know there's a report from years ago that the NBA has the highest annual salary out of all the 4 major sports in America. 1, because there's the least amount of players, and 2, it's the second highest grossing league. So,
they kill it.
You keep it in context. All right, what is this guy worth in the NBA? Yeah, nobody's really, who knows who's worth $191 million, but in the terms of what he does on the court and what he's asked to do and what he provides, he's definitely worth it. Damian Lillard, this postseason was a super coming out party. The past couple years, even though they got knocked out in the playoffs, he's made All-NBA, I think, the past 3 years. It's definitely deserved. And also deserved is his head coach, Terry Stotts. He's supposed to get a multi-year extension. He's brought the Blazers to the postseason in 6 of the last 7 years. And to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2000. So
I got no problem with him. Good for him for getting his money as well. Get a multi-year extension, protect him a little bit. He's there. He deserves to be there, I bet you believe the same thing. But, dude, how often do we see him running on the court in a timeout? I feel like I always see his face screaming in a timeout to the refs. But whatever, he still got his chicken. Maybe he'll yell a little less now since he's got all his bread.
I don't know. I think it'll just hype it up a little bit more. It's kind of like you
Yeah.
see Terry Stott as much as you see the Brett Brown double point for the timeout. It's kind of like that.
Oh, good.
But
Brett Brown.
Brett Brown, yeah. I mean,
Need a break from him for a little bit. Just a little break. Just a little break. He could be back. Just need a little break.
the one thing that's interesting about Portland doing the Dame Supermax and the Terry Stotts extension, all right, they're getting their first 2 ducks in a row. Now they got to take care of CJ. And then they got to take care of Seth Curry. They got to take care of certain guys that were important pieces and then add. I think it's going to be an interesting summer. I think this is the year the Portland Trailblazers want to make it to the conference finals again. They have to reload.
It's tough.
'Cause you know that West is tough.
It's tough to ask somebody to go to Portland, though, Josh. No team in the league travels more than they do. And we've talked about that before, but that really does play a big part. And especially Portland? Portland?
Like, yeah, I hear you.
Not talking L.A., Miami, South Philly. No, I'm playing. But you know what I'm saying?
L.A., New York, Miami, even... No, that's it, I guess.
Yeah, Boston's cold. Shit, I ain't running there.
Chicago's cold and in rebuilding. Like, the top market... See, that's the thing about free agency, too. The top markets always get overblown. Like, yeah, they want to live there, but it's like, you guys travel anyway, and then you have another house in the summer in that warm weather place, and you take a vacation in the summer. Like, I understand what you're saying because you're there for, like, 7 months out of the year, or, like, half of that, so 4 because you're traveling a lot. But sometimes, like, if you really want to win and this fits, all I know is Damian Lillard is going to have to be doing some heavy, like, recruiting as well as LeBron's doing.
Right. I agree. You'll have to get somebody. Might be an upper tier, middle of the road guy, but something, to get a good third guy. Nurkic will be back healthy. I like Nurkic. So they could build up a little team. But in terms of players, in terms of where they are in their career and being in the right spot, somewhere like California as well, there's no player that probably deserves a bigger dollar but loves his situation more than Klay Thompson. And I think we should talk about the All-NBA teams a little bit if you want to.
For sure, I got the list right in front of me. Unless you got
lay
them.
it on me.
All right, no, I got them.
No, I don't.
Ready? First team, and this goes by position too. So some of it, like it's not just like the All-Star game when you just put the most amazing 5. So first team, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, Stephen Curry, Paul George, Nikola Jokic on the first team. So I know we both have a problem with only one person on that list, and that's Nikola Jokic. Now, second team, Joel Embiid, who should be switched with Jokic, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving. Now, I think
Kyrie shouldn't be there.
I don't even know if Kyrie's all NBA this year.
I don't think so. I really don't feel that way. And I want to treat him just for the regular season. We're looking at it because obviously we could be very unfair and talking about his postseason, but his regular season, I think someone deserves it more. So let's hit me with the third team.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Kyrie was too start and stop. Third team, Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin, LeBron James, Rudy Gobert, Kemba Walker.
I'm really happy that Blake Griffin got it. I was loving Blake Griffin this year. Very much love to that. But get out Rudy Gobert. Get out. You're not you're defensive player of the year. You don't need to be an All-NBA list as well. I think that's just a little bit of a slight to somebody like Cat that had a good year. And you might disagree with me, but I really liked Cat this year as well.
No, I'm with you. Cat had a better. I think the All-NBA, like, they base it more on offensive effectiveness than defensive because Rudy Gobert is a stronger defensive player than offensive player. So they gave him his honors, and he won Defensive Player of the Year already, or he's going to win it? They didn't announce it yet.
He's going to win it. He was first team all defense. So, and with the players there, I think he is the clear favorite in my eyes, at least.
Okay.
But we also discussed subbing out, switching Russ and putting him on the second team, and taking out Kyrie and putting in Brad Beal. I thought that would have been okay.
Oh, for sure. Brad Beal averaged 3 more points than Kyrie did all year. And the thing is, interesting is that everybody on these teams, they all had like a stretch in the season when they had like their moment, when they were dominant. I can say the guys that we went off this list didn't have dominant stretches this season. Kyrie didn't. I would say Rudy Gobert didn't. That's simply that. And Jokic should be switched with Embiid just because Embiid was more effective than Jokic, but I think they're giving Jokic the nod that his team was better and he was the
best player on that team.
Yeah, and everything ran through him.
Sometimes it goes like that. And last question: are you okay with LeBron on the third team, or should he get switched with Kawhi? Be fair in terms of regular season.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fair. If you miss like 30 games, then no, you should be on the third team at best because you missed a bunch of games. Like Embiid only missed like 15 maybe, which makes sense for somebody like him as well. Like you really only need to play like 65 games for your team, for you to find out if your team is making the playoffs or not, if you're the best player.
Right.
So I'm fine with LeBron doing that. The biggest snub, we could take someone else off because Klay Thompson needs to be on the All-NBA team. And
somewhere.
We have
but where?
I would say second team, but I would say yeah. I mean, Klay Thompson is incredible, and we have Klay Thompson's reaction, which I'm gonna place in right here, and then we're gonna react to what he said.
Clearly made the All-NBA team, which would have elevated your potential.
Oh, I did? They already came out?
Yeah, it came out today. You were like right behind Beal. Right behind. Who got third team? Kyrie. But you barely. Yeah, Kemba. Kemba got it. You were a couple.
I mean, that's cool and all, but like when you go to 5 straight finals, I respect those guys, but when you go to 5 straight, I mean, it takes more than just a couple of NBA guys. It's like an all-time team, but whatever. That's not. I'd rather win a championship than be third team All-NBA. So it's all good.
Do you not like that affects potential contract statuses, All-NBA stuff? Because that would have elevated you.
Yeah. It is what it is. I can't control it. Do I think there's that many guards better than me in the league? No, but that's the reason why we're still playing.
So Klay Thompson, when answered the question at practice, he said, "Oh, they did? They released it already?" And then when asked about it, he didn't make it. What happened? He rolled his eyes, basically at that thought.
Yeah, but I mean, like he said, I'd rather be a chip boy than a third team All NBA guy. But I look at it like this: it's really tough to take Russ and Kemba off with the years both of those guys had. Yeah, it might have been not the greatest shooting year from Russ, and you're really never going to get a good shooting year from Russ. But the dude averaged a triple-double again. Now, in the league in this time, some people might not even value a triple-double, but still, I think it means something. So it's tough to put him somewhere. I feel like you almost got to make a spot for Klay, force it somehow because he is so good. But, the guys, pretty much those guys on the list deserve it. I don't think they really did a bad job. I think Rudy Gobert's got to go. And Kyrie's a stretch, but that's just an NBA trying to make a play on a dollar, per usual.
And interesting you say that because I was reading an SB Nation article last night about the 4 winners and losers from the All-NBA voting. See, you're Mr. Finance Man, so they have a clause in the contract.
Yeah, baby.
So there's a couple winners. Now, Kemba Walker getting third All-NBA team. Yeah, we'll get to him next because Giannis' deal is crazy too.
Crazy.
He can get a 5-year, $221 million supermax. Just because he made the All-NBA. The third team. Now,
good for him. I hope he doesn't stay, but I also want him to get his bread. So it's got to obviously go in the middle because obviously Charlotte can offer you the most money. But it's tough to pull people to go there. Just they want it. It's like their number one priority is to keep him, but I would love to see him in a Laker uniform. That's just me. But
still might go. Another winner, Damian Lillard. Like we said, he's going to get that extension.
Good for him.
That's because of this being all NBA the past couple years. The last winner, like you said, Giannis, is projected to get a 5-year, $247.3 million contract, which is almost $50 million a season.
Oh my gosh!
Which is so crazy.
Oh my! That's probably the GDP of Milwaukee. No, I'm playing.
That's probably how much the city of Milwaukee is worth. Like,
that's a ton of money, man. Oh my gosh!
So much money. And
who else is a winner?
That's all the winners they had. Oh no, Rudy Gobert, of course. He's about to get paid as well. Hold on.
Oh
This threw me for a loop.
He deserves $1.
No, he don't. All right, ready? You think he deserves
not that tough.
Giannis $1? Because he might.
No, he ain't gonna get Giannis $1. He can't get Giannis $1.
Hold on. All right. Bobby Marks 42 on Twitter and SB Nation put this in their article. So this, I'm assuming this is credible. He says the Utah center will become Supermax eligible in the summer of 2020. 5 years, $247 million. If he earns Defensive Player of the Year honors for a second straight year, because Gobert did not earn all NBA in 17-18 like Giannis, he has not met the criteria. So if Rudy Gobert, this helps. But then if he gets Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to get the same money as Giannis. And Rudy Gobert, no offense to you, you are one of the best defensive players in the league and one of the best centers in the league. You are not a franchise changer anywhere close to Giannis. And you're going to get paid the same amount as him? I mean, get your money, but, like, for the team, that's a tough one to fall on there.
So maybe he bets on himself and wants to do it, but you better be damn sure. You better be damn sure that the Utah executives are coming after him this summer saying, hey, you want to sign an extension? Damn sure. Because you didn't want to get hit with that max. I look back on our Joel deal. I thought that was one of the best things the Sixers ever did.
Yeah, and people thought about that like, oh, he's only played 30 games. Yeah, but you locked him up at we have them at the same price as Andrew Wiggins. I've said this on the show before, and at 3 times higher the productivity. Yeah, so I think we're both winning.
Extensions are the move. Our boy Ben's gonna have to get that extension, because the max the following year is going to be really tough for the Sixers to swing. So they're going to have to try do the extension move. Ben's obviously going to get paid, especially now because he's got to drown his sorrows because his girl left him yesterday. So
you had to bring that up. I thought we were going to go the whole podcast.
I thought I wasn't either, but I thought I wasn't, but I had to drip it in. My boy Ben's on vacation right now. Not apparently. Sorry, all trolls out there. He is not working on his jump shot. He is relaxing in a beautiful place that I wish we both were.
Right. Imagine
nice, warm
potting
weather.
on the beach. I would love to pot on the beach.
Playing with some pigs. Hanging out with my boy Sean Tribe, his brother. So, but he'll get back in. He'll get back in the lab. As Sal Frangipani would say, this is going to be a surgical summer for my guy.
I mean. Well, Sal said it on Instagram the other day. Shout out to Sal. Hope you listen. But he got that phrase from Pusha T last summer. But yes, it will. Hopefully, it is a surgical summer for.
Speaking of Pusha T, we got to talk about that for a hot second.
All right.
Did you see the Bucks owner's daughter, clowning with the Pusha T-shirt?
Yeah.
What?
That was
gotta
cool.
love that.
It's a fun little troll. That was a little playful. Honestly, I was surprised she looked that good.
She looked good because I then looked her up on Instagram. She didn't look as good as she did last night. She's really on her point right now.
Oh, maybe she's doing a dietary thing right now. It's Game 5. The glow.
Yeah,
the glow may be different.
She looks good. Yeah.
But yeah, I did see that. That was cool. That was a little fun. And then Drake responded, putting on making her a profile picture and whatnot. That stuff's cool. But when it takes over the game, that's when I don't like it. Like I stated.
Also, shout out to my boy Aaron Rodgers. I can't chug a beer either, bro.
I hear you. I mean, I never really tried. I don't want to try it. I think that would take the enjoyment out of drinking it.
I feel that. And since we were just talking about Ben Simmons, do you want to lay some maybe the all rookie teams on us?
Oh, for sure. I would love to. The first team is Luka legend, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson Jr., Marvin Bagley III. That's the first team. Then for the second team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Colin Sexton, Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Herter. Honestly, I think they killed the rookie teams. I don't
They
see
did
a wrong person.
phenomenal job. I have no complaints. I think everybody made it, and I'm excited that they actually showed Landry the respect he deserved, because he was definitely, a part of both teams he played on this year. He had a different road than a lot of the other guys, but guess what? He was in the playoffs, contributing valuable minutes. He hit a big shot against the Warriors. We can't forget that,
Never forget.
So good for Landry, and the first team. Second time ever we saw since 1984 with the legendary draft of Michael Jordan, Bowie, Barkley, Olajuwon, and who's the fifth? Help me out here.
Bowie, Barkley, Olajuwon, 1984 NBA draft. Hold on. Hold that thought. I'm going to Google it.
It's Jordan, Bowie, Olajuwon, Barkley. Who's the fifth? Oh, Maravich? No, I'm out of my whack. I might be out of my skull on that one.
Olajuwon, Bowie, Jordan, Perkins, Barkley.
Perkins. That's what it was. Where'd he go?
Carolina, North Carolina.
And then where'd he play college? I mean, where'd he play professional?
Dallas.
Utah? Oh, Dallas. I was off. I swung and a miss on that one. Oof. But, yeah, I mean, that's cool. The top five, we're the top five. Definitely were. I got no complaints about that.
The only person that I would say, if you catch me on a grumpy day, maybe not Colin Sexton. Maybe, but you would have to do some digging, which
right.
makes it, like, a hard case to make.
Yeah, I would have felt that. Like I said, I predicted Kevin Knox in Summer League to have a good year out of the new guys. We figured Luka was going to win Rookie of the Year, but I thought Kevin Knox was going to be a little more onto the scene than he was. I think he's got to get better at finishing, so he'll make his ways in the league. Obviously, being an all-rookie doesn't mean your career's over, by not making it. So, put your head down and grind, bull, because New York about to be some shit. Or New Orleans, if you become an AD trade asset. But that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, and now on to the defensive teams.
What
like
else
we
we got for
mentioned
teams? Yeah.
multiple times. Rudy Gobert making the first team all defense for the second straight year. Paul George, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Marcus Smart, Eric Bledsoe. Now the second team, Drew Holiday, Klay Thompson, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, Kawhi Leonard. Hey, yo, maybe, like, I may be sounding crazy or maybe too early. The second team may be better, like, defensively and on all around than the first team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, that is...
I mean, these two teams are dogs. Don't get me wrong. But offensively, obviously, the second team gets the nod, compared to Bledsoe and Smart as the guards.
Even Antetokounmpo, there's not enough shooting on the first team.
I still think my boy Benny Buckets is still a better defender than some of these guys. But, like I said, story for a different day. Ben Simmons, first team all snub.
He only got 2 second-place votes and no first-place votes.
It's all right. It's whatever. I ain't going to forget. He ain't going to forget either. We'll show him. We'll show them, Ben. We'll show them together.
You'll be cheering him on from wherever you're watching.
But we also did. Who else got snubbed? Do you feel anybody else got snubbed?
On defense?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was cool. Who do you think?
Miles Turner?
Oh, yeah. No, hold on. Actually, I did put that down. Miles Turner and Patrick Beverley did not agree with the list. And they were close. Patrick Beverley got 14 first-place votes and 20 second-team votes. Miles Turner got... I'm trying to find him. He's not even on this list for getting second-team votes.
He got some disrespect. Wait, so did Klay make the team? I forget what you said. Klay get in there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. He deserves it.
Wow, really? Miles Turner not even on getting votes. And how do you... See, that's disrespectful.
Yeah. He had a ton of blocks this year.
He led the league in blocks.
Oh, come on.
Like, that's super disrespectful. I'm happy that the comparison, like, it's a parallel. Like, the NBA picked up on Mitchell Robinson's play, and that's why he made second rookie team. But then they didn't pick up on Miles Turner's play all year for him to even make the second defensive team.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? What do you
Put him on
say?
the
Sorry,
team.
Joel, or put him at the forward?
Put him at
Put
the
him at the power
forward.
forward. Yeah, because obviously Joel's got to get in there.
Yes, he does. That's damn sure. We missed on the All NBA side. LeBron's 11-year first All NBA run ends, and that's
Still ties the most All NBA ever, though.
15
So
straight.
I'm okay with that.
And
You
he's,
know, at some point in their career, things are gonna happen. We've never had a LeBron James injury, and that's why we had all 11 All NBA. And if LeBron never got injured this year, I don't care who the fuck you are. You're LeBron's first team All NBA if he's not hurt. Nobody arguing with me on that. No cap, as these kids say these days. No cap.
yeah, no
That's
caping.
all I got for the kids today.
I hear that. I can't even argue that one. Real quick before we go, there's a couple minor Sixers things. I saw on Twitter that where's it at? Here it is. From @LegionHoops. People around the league believe Tobias Harris will strongly consider the Nets in free agency. Reported from Ian Begley. How does that make you feel?
Good for him. Go. I ain't paying him. Good for him.
All right.
Go. If you want to come and visit Philly, we're only an hour and a half away from Brooklyn. So 2 hours, whatever. But not today. I'm paying you that much money, Tobias Harris, especially with those threes not falling. Shout out to LDR, SAT. Louis Dorenzo shouted me out on that one. He told me that Tobias needs to hit those open threes. He came into the Sixers as one of the best three-point shooters in the league and left the shithead.
Yeah, we were hype. I remember when we got him, I had that stat. He was the only player up to that point that this season to average 20 on 50% field goal shooting and 40% from three. And it was only him and Steph Curry. So
Yeah.
like
Some
it
good
was
company there.
It was just a disappointment. And yeah, I don't want to pay him whatever he may get elsewhere, but if he wants to take a discount, he can definitely come back. And we'll get
He can
into
definitely come back.
We'll get into a bigger off-season preview when the playoffs get done for the Sixers.
For sure.
Last thing, we mentioned last week how Ben's going to play on the Australia team for FIBA World Cup in August. Well, Jonah Bolden is joining him, and Jonah has only played on the U19 Australia squad. I think this is great. Get him more reps, get him ready quicker for the season so he can hit the ground running and really make an impact into the rotation for next year. I don't know what you think.
I feel the same way. I feel like he's going to slowly see himself make the rotation on a full-time basis, not 7-game spurts and go sit for the next 10. I'm rooting for him. Hopefully he doesn't foul as much like we've discussed before because he's a big fouler. But, it'll be good being down in Australia. He'll be relied more on that type of team than he will other places, in the NBA as of right now. But that'll be good. He'll get more responsibility. He'll get some buckets.
Great way to end it. You have anything else to say to the people? Because that's all we got for the show today.
It's Memorial Day weekend, so I've been getting buckets. My three ball is back on. So if anybody want to catch me on the courts, I'll be on Union. Get at me. I'm back on my buckets.
I'm going to be down on Sunday for sure. Hopefully we play.
Dang.
I'm going to give you some buckets.
Give you buckets.
No. All right.
Let's see if Nikki can go get out of Cape May for the day on Sunday, so everybody can be together. We'll all go there, and so hit the beach. Maybe hit a twisted tea or two, peach Moscato if you're Frankie P. But we'll get in there.
Yeah, for sure. Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully everybody has a fun one. Be safe.
Be safe.
Yeah, get some color, wear some sunscreen. That's pretty much it for the podcast. You can follow it on Twitter, Instagram, Twitter _podcast, Instagram the Outlet Pass Podcast. Search the Outlet Pass Podcast on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like, share, repost, subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, tell a friend to tell a friend. And this has been the Outlet Pass Podcast. The ball being our opinions, and we're passing it out to you. Peace.